every time she hits her stride
Here I come.
and is ready to chase it again. Every time we hear the bell and know a child is cancer-free. Every time his heart beats stronger and he scores the winning goal. With more than 35 pediatric subspecialties, East Tennessee Children's Hospital is here every time it matters most.
I'm back. How's it going, everybody? Yeah. It's Wednesday, too. Got the camel. We're back in the studio. A little bit of normalcy coming back to our lives. Well, you know. We all know I'm not normal, so there's that. Let me get situated. Sorry, I was running a few minutes behind. Is just trying to get my life back together while I get back in the studio. We'll be talking about the National Weather Association's annual weather conference. I'll talk much more about that. Got a lot of cool stuff that I learned that I'd like to start to implement some things, and just great to learn all the information. So I'll talk more about that. For those of you that are hitting the road here this morning and want to get back on the road and off to work and school, let's get to work with the forecast, and then we'll just chill out and have a good conversation this morning. By the way, grab a cup of coffee this morning. It's a little chilly. My coffee's about 3 hours old. What do you want from me? All right, so yesterday we made it into the 70s. Is this weather just not perfect? I mean, what a way to end the month of August, start the month of September. It's, for crying out loud, it's September 10th, and we have been trending below average for like the last 2 weeks. But we're going to start to see, well, a little bit more heat start to creep its way back into the area. Okay, so, excuse me, yesterday we were in the 70s and 80s. All right, so we have a little bit of fog out there. It's already starting to lift in some locations, but other locations, not necessarily the case here this morning. This is a live look in downtown Clinton, Anderson County. Whoa, the fog is thick there. It is super juicy there, and soupy, and foggy. But other locations around town, we'll just take a different view. How about this? This is Fox Road Marina in West Knoxville. Not so foggy there this morning. So, again, it's kind of hit and miss depending on where you live. Depends on if you have much fog in your area. All right, temperatures this morning. We're in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know, it's one of those things where when I stepped outside to go back inside the house to help get the kids ready for school, I was like, it's kind of chilly out here. So it does have a nice cool chill to the air. But it feels great. We are trending about where we were yesterday, generally speaking. Maybe a couple of degrees warmer in some locations, a couple of degrees colder in other locations, but that's it. So no rainfall today, no rainfall tomorrow. We'll talk more about that, but today's going to be a gorgeous day. We're talking just a few fair weather cumulus clouds. So the fog lifts. Sky should clear out pretty quickly because we have a lot of dry air in the atmosphere. Then we get a little surge of some low-level moisture right around 5,000 feet in elevation. And that's going to help to bring us a few fair weather cumulus clouds. And that, my friends, is going to be the extent of it. We're not going to see any rain today. The atmosphere is too dry. When you look at your futurecast rainfall, now, again, it's like maybe trying to pick up on some moisture in the atmosphere across the Cumberland Plateau. So if we, for some crazy reason, I didn't go live on Instagram. Let's go live on Instagram. I forgot to push live on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. We are live now. Maybe we'll see some folks join us. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so I don't think we're going to see any rainfall. Models have been hinting at a little bit of precipitation across the plateau, as you clearly saw, but just don't think it's possible. We just don't have any moisture. We're at 55 this morning in some locations, 40s and 50s, right? We're going to climb into the low 70s for the lunch hour. Grab your partner, go round and round, go grab some lunch, right? Go grab a patio outside. Sunny and 73 for lunchtime is like the perfect patio weather. And then forecast highs will be in the 70s and 80s. I want to take you on a little tour around East Tennessee, highlight some of these local spots, and become, talk anybody living along the I-75 corridor, Highway 27, 127. Temperatures going to be great. From Oneida at 79 to Corrington at 80 degrees. Crossville is going to top out at about 79 degrees across the Southern Valley. Not bad. Obviously a little bit warmer the further south you live. Chattanooga to Cleveland, Benton to Athens, going to be in the low to mid 80s, going to 85 in Spring City and about 82 in Greenback. Across Upper East Tennessee, Bristol, a little bit cooler, 77. Mountain City's only at 76 today. Morristown's going to top out at about 80, 81 Harrogate, and Newport to Pigeon Forge along 411. It's going to be right there, right around 80 degrees. And in central Knox County, in the Central Valley, from Farragut to Rockford, Seymour to Kodak, Mascot to Halls, everybody's going to be in the low 80s. So a nice afternoon ahead of us. And how about this? I know it's not hot, but think about this. We have a lot of folks that tune in every day that are new, that are moving to town. We have a lot of folks moving to town. We have a huge tourism, obviously. You know what, like 15 to 20 million people go into our backyard in the national park. And so we go from 81 in Gatlinburg to 81 in Pigeon Forge, 78 Gatlinburg today. And then you go up the higher elevations in places like Cades Cove isn't bad because Cades Cove isn't too high up in elevation. Very similar temperature anyways as, say, Gatlinburg. But you go up a little bit higher, Clingman's Dome, Newfound Gap. I mean, we're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So some cooler weather across the highest peaks for sure. Evening forecast, if you have ball games, practices, outdoor events here tonight, 79 for the evening rush hour, a 72 by 8 o'clock here tonight, and then down to 67 as we kind of wind down the evening. Let me show you the big picture weather pattern. A ridge slowly moves in, so I'm going to loop this for you. We've had some troughing hanging out with us here in the southeastern U.S. Now a ridge is going to slowly build on in, but it's not like a really strong ridge, and so it's just enough, I think, to push our temperatures back to those seasonal averages. Rain chances, the big goose egg. I really, really, really have a hard time finding much in the way of rain over the next 7 days. When you look at the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for rain chances. Where is that? There it is. There it is. Did you hear that? Yeah. No, not a bad thing. It's nice to have the sunnier and drier weather conditions, but I can't stress this enough this time of the year. September is our second driest month on record. October is our driest month on record. So, we need a little bit of rain. We don't want to get into a drought. We don't want to get into extreme high fire danger. And one thing I'll talk about is about Hurricane Helene. I heard like 3 or 4 great presentations on Hurricane Helene. But I'm going to talk about that in the elevated fire danger that we could potentially have if we don't get much rainfall across the mountains of East Tennessee, Upper East Tennessee, over into North Carolina, due to a lot of downed trees. Because listen, I mean, this pattern may stick around above and beyond the 7-day forecast. This is your 6 to 10 day outlook. So this takes us towards the end of the 7-day and then just shortly beyond the 7 days. So probably going to stay dry. Do we start to see a little bit of moisture creeping in from the southeast? Maybe. This is your 8 to 14 day outlook. This takes us all the way through the 24th of September. So probably not looking at a whole lot of rainfall. And then, of course, October is typically a very dry and rain-free month. Temperature trends, not bad. We're warming back to those seasonal averages, if not above. Average high for this time of year, generally speaking, Central Valley, 85 degrees. We're going to be in the low to mid-80s all the way through Friday. Who's going to the football game? Anybody going to the UT Georgia game this weekend? Yeah, it's going to be a packed house. Doesn't it seem a little early to have the Georgia game? Maybe. By the way, we've got 2 folks joining us on Instagram. What's up, Instagram folks? How are you, my friends? All right, here we go. So, and then by the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I mean, listen, if you are heading off to the football game on Saturday, or if you have any sort of outdoor plans, it's still going to be warm. Dew points climb a little bit, nothing crazy. Temperatures climb a little bit, nothing crazy, but we could be pushing close to 90 maybe next Monday, Tuesday. Do we see another 90-degree day before the season is over, before the summer season is over? I don't know. Maybe across the Southern Valley, closer to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday timeframe. Central and Northern Valley, I don't think we're going to probably have much in the way of 90s returning to the area. But either way. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take you back outside, and we'll show you another great view. We'll take you up to Anakeesta. How about that? How about this shot from Anakeesta? Look at that. It's a beaut, they say. It's a beaut. No fog there, but definitely plenty of sunshine. All right, so I just wanted to, listen, I was at the National Weather Association's annual weather conference. It changes cities every year. Last year, if you recall, I was in Houston. Whoa, we don't want to go back to that. Let's go back here. We got to get back to this. Take off my little timer. And we don't need my name up there, huh? Let's get my name off there. See, I told you, we're working through things. All right. Anyways, so every year, National Weather Association's annual weather conference, it runs from Sunday through like Thursday, but after about Tuesday or today, really, it kind of fades off from the broadcaster side. and goes to the more of the National Weather Association's, National Weather Service side and stuff like that. So anyways, typically broadcasters only stay just a few days. I also had the Barron Weather Conference. So I use Barron Weather for my computer system, top-notch weather company. And we had a conference Friday and Saturday. So I had a conference Friday, Saturday with Barron, and then Sunday, Monday, and yesterday I had the National Weather Association's annual conference. There's a lot of topics, and one of the topics was, of course, we're coming up on the year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, and seeing all the reports and all the presentations on Helene itself, especially from some of my coworkers or cohorts, I should say, over into North Carolina. People like Brad Panovich, he did a couple of presentations. But one thing that I think that's going to be interesting and that we'll have to watch closely for is if we don't get any rainfall. This is where I'm going with this, okay? The drought, rain, lack of rain. It was mind-blowing. I don't think any of you realize how many trees got knocked down over into North Carolina. There is a gigantic swath of downed trees that they cannot possibly go clear them all out. So now they're down. Some of the forest, the floor vegetation has now been exposed because it doesn't have the canopy of trees anymore. So now that smaller brush and vegetation is going to dry out a little bit quicker. Then, of course, you have these downed trees and just hundreds, probably hundreds of thousands, really, to be honest with you, of trees. That some of the pictures I saw were just mind-blowing. But those are all down now. Now they're going to dry out. Now we're going to be we're talking about a tinderbox especially over in North Carolina. But I think we were affected here as well with the winds knocking all the trees down. So I think it's just going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out as we get into October. Of course, it is fire season in October. So that was fascinating. I'm trying to think what else. Learned a lot of cool things. A lot of cool things. So you're probably going to see some new changes on how I present things. Okay. For instance, some of the things that they talked about was how long do people I post a lot of stuff to social media. And I post a long form weather forecast to social media. The problem is, and I looked at my analytics after I heard this conversation. I was like, oh, well, yeah. Nobody sticks around. Nobody wants a long form weather forecast anymore. We are a society of scrolling, and like they said, the average person will spend about 47 seconds on a forecast online. That's it, unless it's live. So this format right here is where we can dive into more conversation, more details, show you the long form forecast. I appreciate you sticking around, but some of my forecasts that I post to social media are probably going to be shortened up quite a bit. I'm just going to do some tests, throw some stuff at the wall, see what sticks, right? Especially being on the digital side of this. And this goes for anybody on the digital side, which is everybody really anymore these days. But so you're going to probably notice a little bit of a change there. Also, the algorithm has been changing for Facebook. They're trying to be a little bit more like TikTok. And so there we go. We're going vertical stuff. So the 1 minute with Witchers, my morning, my afternoon, and evening updates are probably on social media are going to be shot vertically from here on out. I'm going to work on trying to do that. And do some tests and see if they get a little bit more views, a little bit better population, see if I can get the forecast out a little bit more where people would actually stick around for the 47 seconds, if you will. Not a typical 2, 3, 4 minute forecast. If you ever want the extended forecast above and beyond that 47 seconds, so to speak, YouTube, website, and app. They will always live there, and of course the 24-hour channel on Roku and Amazon Fire. And I'm getting Apple TV. I know I've talked about that for a long time. I talked to the guy who's developing it here this past weekend, and I'm getting Apple TV here very shortly. Let's see what else. So you're probably just going to notice a few changes here and there, and so hopefully you like it. If you don't, please holler back. Let me know. Again, I'm building this for you. I'm not building it for me, but I need to build it according to the algorithms and how people are viewing and what our society is doing. And because of TikTok and Instagram and Reels, we're just a society of quick moving on, and nobody's going to spend a lot of time. So there's that. All right, let's go to the chat and say hi to everybody. I know I just talked a lot, so thank you for sticking with me. Let's see. Wake up. What's up, Chris? How are you? Thanks, Eva. I appreciate that. It's always good to hang out with my friends. So I don't know if you saw on social, I saw my mentor of 25 years there, who's always tried to get me back to Denver, Colorado for a long time. I tried to get back to Denver for a long time, even though I went back for Weather Nation. But I was like, sorry, buddy. I started East Tennessee weather, and I ain't moving anywhere. Good morning, Carol. How are you? Let's see. Just hits different when you're doing it in your studio. Welcome back, and thanks for bringing the great weather. So is it better in the studio or is it not better in the studio, Mike? It's different. You know, my whole setup is and taking stuff on the road and, you know, and having to deal with internet speeds, which also leads me to, I'm actually going to look at Starlink. For when I go on the road, because I can get a faster upload and download speed with Starlink rather than Wi-Fi. I believe it or not, the Wi-Fi's are terrible in hotels. You probably know that if you travel at all. Awful. I was actually using my cell phone as a hotspot to do all my broadcast stuff, but everything was super late because it took forever to upload any of the stuff, even all my radio stations and all the. It was crazy. So fun. I don't mind doing it. I like hitting the road and broadcasting live, but there is just a lot more elements that have to take shape in order to get things to work a little bit better. Well, I've not even had a full cup of coffee yet, Brandon. You'll be watching from St. Augustine. Nice. Let's see. We love the lives and the 1 minute weather. Perfect. Let's get that out of the way here. That's covering up our stuff. I think that's why I do 1 minute with Witcher. My wife was like, I think you need to do this. And that is 100% the reason why. But I think my afternoon forecast and my evening forecast on social will be shortened and just the information for just getting you through the day and the next day. That is it. And of course, the 7-day forecast. It feels like home. It's nice to be back home. You really like the live interactions or love the interactions with live updates? Exactly. I do too. This is my favorite part. My favorite part of the day. Of course, I got to get the information out there for everybody, but don't ever say nobody. There's always somebody. That is true. Aw, thanks, Deb. And I love that you're joining me on Instagram this morning too. I've got 7 folks on Instagram this morning. Not my most populous platform. That is for sure. All right, but now we shall move along, shall we? Let's talk about some of those national holidays. I haven't even looked at them yet. We've only got 2. Just at a glance, we've only got 2. So here we are. So it's September 10th. We're celebrating birthdays and events. I love birthdays. I love events. And also, this guy, speaking of which, this brings me to to a thing I was talking about. So you know the Sartoma Center? You know Sartoma, right? So they're doing a Sandbar social on Friday, September 19th. I'll be there. Tickets are available. It's going to be at the Hunter Valley Farms location off of North Shore Drive in Central Knox County. It's going to be a beach theme evening full of fun, music, community, spirits, and all the proceeds supports adults with intellectual and development disabilities. Great organization here in East Tennessee. They've reached out to me and say, can you please help us pass along the word to get people here? So I will post some more stuff on social media throughout the next couple of weeks because this is September 19th. So we're only 9 days away. We're only 9 days away? Oh, geez. So a week from this upcoming Friday, if you want to go and have support the Sartoma Center and go to the Sandbar Social, I will post more on social media for that and really help them out. They were founded in 1961. The Sartoma Center by the Knoxville Downtown Sartoma Club. So it's a really cool organization. So that's going on. Also, let's see what else. I guess that's the only events I know about right now. It's National TV Dinner Day. How many of you eat those old-fashioned, the old Hungry Mans? Grew up on that stuff, right? The old 80s. Let's see when the TV dinner was made. I think we did that. I remember doing this last year, but National TV Dinner Day is observed annually on September 10th. In 1953, C.A. Swanson & Sons changed the prepackaged meal business forever. Yes, they did. Introducing the TV dinner revolutionized the frozen food industry. Is that not crazy? In 1962, Swanson stopped using the name TV dinner. However, in the United States, the term remains synonymous with any pre-packaged dinner purchased frozen in the store and heated at home. I mean, it really took a big old leap what, in like the late 70s, early 80s? TV dinners. My family and I used to eat a lot of TV dinners back in the day. My parents cooked a lot, but like, we get busy. Now I feel like it's chicken nuggets and hot dogs for the kids, or Chick-fil-A. You're like, yeah, let's just go to Chick-fil-A. Anyways, National Swap Ideas Day. Great day for that. If you have any ideas for me and the platform that I run with East Tennessee Weather, whether it be the look of the app, whether it be the live broadcast, whether it be, the shortened versions on social media, whether it be the long forms, whatever it may be, whether it be the colors, the looks, I don't care. I've got thick skin. I've been doing this business for a long time. You got to have thick skin on TV. And I built this for you all, for our community. So if you ever have any ideas, swap them, share them with me, and we'll see if we can't make some changes. That's what I'm talking about. All right, those are your national holidays. Now we shall go back to... Let's go back outside. It's so pretty outside. We'll show you what it looks like in Gatlinburg, downtown Gatlinburg. Nice little view there. Not bad. All right, so now we need to talk about, well, we don't need to, but we're going to. And you can stick around if you want to. You don't have to. Weather history for September 10th. And we'll start in 1989 and I'll work our way later in time. Why did they do that again? Let's come back here. All right. In 1989, light snow fell in Montana during the overnight hours, with 3 inches reporting at Fairfield. Billings reported a record low of 33 degrees. 1989. It's this time of the year that we're going to get these shots of colder air. In 1988, just a year prior to that, cool air sweeping across the northern central U.S. brought snow to some of the higher elevations of Montana. So that was 2 years in a row. Pretty typical for that. Tropical storm Gilbert strengthened to a hurricane over the eastern Caribbean. In 1987, a late afternoon thunderstorm roared through Austin, Texas, producing wind gusts of 81 miles per hour and over 2 inches of rain in just 60 minutes, just 1 hour. In 1960, Hurricane Donna struck the Florida Keys with winds gusting to 180 miles per hour and a 13-foot storm surge. It produced over $300 million of damage. That was 1960. In 1919, a hurricane struck the Florida Keys, drowning more than 500 people. Remember, we didn't have hurricane names back then. So, a hurricane. All right, how about this? Today in history across the world, in 1990, Will Smith made his debut in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Nice. I mean, that's my childhood, right? 1990. Let's see, I 1992 is when I started high school, so I would have been in, what, 7th grade? 7th grade in 1990. In 1953, we just talked about this, but Swanson began selling the TV dinner. In 1913, the Lincoln Highway opened. It was the first paved coast-to-coast highway in the U.S. And in 1846, Elias Howe received the patent for the sewing machine. Anybody know the person with this for the sewing machine? 1846, the sewing machine. That's some pretty cool stuff right there. What's up, David? You're in New Jersey. You're in Nor'easter Nick's area. If you ever see Nor'easter Nick, good friend of mine. Give him a big shout out. He's a great guy up there. If you're ever up in New Jersey, the Mid-Atlantic, make sure you follow Nor'easter Nick. Or if you go anywhere in the country, if you're ever traveling anywhere, you can always go to the National weathernetwork.com website, and you can find different people like me across the country where you can download their app while they're there and get a local forecast from a local meteorologist, which is great. And a lot more of us going to be coming on board here. Let's see, events this weekend. Friday at Iams Nature Center for Movies Under the Stars is where Wild Things are going to be playing. 7 o'clock start the Saturday is National Farmers Market Day for Tractor Supply. Come see me in Seymour Store, 10 to 2. You're everywhere, Felicia. All the time. Powerhouse Fades and Shades. Morning, you are the most coolest guy ever. You are the most coolest guy I've ever met. Always energetic and full of confidence. That's why I follow you and the weather daily. Keep up the great work. Thanks. Where did we meet? Where did we meet? Have we met somewhere? I always say, if you ever see me in public, don't be shy. Come say hi. I need a t-shirt that says that. Don't be shy. Come say hi. I'm totally going to do that for an East Tennessee weather t-shirt. Don't say hi. Come say hi. Oh, my gosh. Anyways. Oh, I meant to do that from the beginning, Eva. Oh, my goodness gracious. See, I just got sidetracked. Shall we say good morning, Dad Rob? I think we shall.
Wait for him. Wait for him. Bam! Now we slide all the way downhill to the weekend. The kids can get ready for school.
Get it, Ed.
And Debbie can take her shower.
There it is. Debbie can take her shower now. And now it is officially hump day. Oops. There we go. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Eva. I appreciate you. I would have gotten into the end of the show and been like, I forgot about that. Do we have any Witchers pictures? I've not even looked at that. Again, I've been out of the loop, been studying, and I mean, if you've ever been to a conference, you know how they are. It's busy for sure. So I have not even looked at any. If you want to stick around, well, I'll look here real quick and see if we have any. I hung out with Rebecca Sweet. I hung out with who's a meteorologist over at Channel 10. If you recall, she took my job. Didn't take it, but she was given the job. Oh, we have some great photos. All right, let's get to work with some photos. Anyway, Spencer Denton, who's over at WVLT. Ken Weathers, who's over at WAT. There were 4 meteorologists here from East Tennessee that were down at the weather conference. Good thing the weather wasn't bad. Good thing the weather wasn't bad. Wow, got a lot of hail pictures on here as well. Jeez. From that storm that we had on Thursday. What a crazy day that was, right? All right, so we had some great photos. This is a good one. Elaine Ombre behind the lens. This is a great one. I happen to be down at, so we were having a broadcast dinner. So we do a broadcast dinner at these events, right? And so Barron Weather was the main sponsorship. And by the way, this is the 50th anniversary of the National Weather Association. So big celebration. We went to the guy who started my weather computer that I use every single day. We went to his, obviously he's super loaded, right? He's worked on Doppler radars and weather computers and been in the weather industry for years and years and years, and a great entrepreneur. But we went to his lake house in Alabama. I think it was south of Huntsville. Anyways, beautiful lake house. Gorgeous. He launched like 45 minutes of personalized fireworks. It was insane. But the moon was coming up right over the horizon on the lake. And if I had a great camera or something like that, it would have been, the cell phones just don't do it justice. But the view was just absolutely mind-blowing. It was awesome. All right, anybody want to know what this color means for winter? Look at that little guy. Look at that little guy. That's like, I think I'm a woolly worm, but maybe I'm not. And maybe it's going to be a cold winter, and maybe it's not. Have you seen a lot of folks have been posting pictures of the persimmon seeds? The spoons, my friend. You know what that means. How about this from Cades Cove? This one is from Beverly Dunn in Cades Cove. That's a great one for sure. Oh, look at this one. This is a great shot of the moon. Don't be sideways. Why do you always go sideways on me? I don't know if that's how you all upload it or take the photo, but that one's coming in from Donna Finch. She said, almost. Full blood moon from Rockford, Tennessee. We got a great photo from Lisa Gibson. Lisa's. Oh, look at that. It's going to be sideways too, so I'll flip it. Great little shot there. Some deers. Doe, a deer. And the babies. A female deer. And Bill Lyle, fog in the valley and along I-75 between the Split and Lenore City. That was this morning. What a great view that is. That's cool, Bill. And you live in a beautiful neighborhood, that's for sure. Great little post right there of the fog in Lenore City. Let's see. What else do I have? All right. I guess that's it. What's up, Jay? Everybody say hi to Vegas. Vegas, say hi to everybody. This is like one of my best friends. He was also at the conference here, and he lives in Baltimore, so he's a meteorologist in Baltimore. And And actually, believe it or not, he was my roommate at the weather conference. You know, for so many years, I used to bunk up with him at the conference. For like how many years, Justin? We've been going to this conference for like 23 years, right? And I used to bunk up with him because my station, we won't go any further than that, cheapskates, they would never pay for a hotel. They would pay for my food and my flight to get there. They would never pay for my hotel. So I was always like, Vegas, can I? And his name's Vegas because that's a whole nother story. We won't even go there, but we'll call him Vegas. He's from Las Vegas. But anyways, so this year, I think he was having to pay for himself to be here to go to the conference. And so I said, well, I'm going. I got a hotel room. Come and bunk with me. So we've been roomies at the conference for many a year. Oh, stop it. I know. I forgot my CPAP machine, so I was snoring. Which has made it why I was falling asleep during the conference. No, I was not. But 21, huh? 21 NWA conferences that we've been attending. Thanks for joining me on Instagram. Well, we're down to 2 people on Instagram now. They got tired. Oh my goodness, friends. All right. Well, we are gonna wrap things up here this morning. 8:07. Have I had too much coffee? There we go. Hi, Vegas. Vegas, let's get that up there. Oh, you're working this morning. Gotta go back on TV. Tell the folks in Baltimore that East Tennessee Weather says hi. All the folks from East Tennessee Weather. I love it. Thanks for joining me this morning, bud. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you joining me every single day. Again, like, share, subscribe. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. Be honest. Honesty is best. That's what they say. Enjoy the sunrise. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Enjoy your day. Enjoy these beautiful temperatures. It's going to be just another fantastic day. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:30. Wake up with Witcher. Until then, have a great day.
Wait for him. Wait for him. Bam! Now we slide all the way downhill to the weekend. The kids can get ready for school, and Debbie can take her shower.